The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike. LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Listen. Season after season, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy fine, ripe, mellow leaf. Tobacco that makes a swell smoke.
James Monroe Ball, ace tobacco auctioneer, said that.
Quality tobacco. Fine tobacco with real flavor. Smooth and mild. For myself, I picked Lucky's. Smoked them for 15 years.
Herbert T. Highsmith, independent tobacco buyer, said that. Yes, at auction after auction, independent tobacco experts can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco. Remember,
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So for your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment, smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Broadcasting from San Francisco, the Lucky Strike program, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Rochester, Dennis Day, Phil Harris's orchestra, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, on last Tuesday night in Los Angeles, with bands playing and trumpets blaring, the star of our show boarded a special car on the Lark. And on Wednesday morning, after a night of excitement and anticipation, finally arrived in San Francisco and was met at the station by a red cap. And here he is, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking. And, Don, you're absolutely right. Imagine after the mayor, the Chamber of Commerce, and the newspapermen of San Francisco begged me to come up here, there was no one to meet me at the station but a red cap. I was so mad I carried my own bag. And I'm going to stay mad till I get back on the train.
Well, anyway, Jack, even though you didn't get a reception at the station, at least you had the honor of coming to San Francisco in a private car.
Well, Don, it wasn't exactly a private car. It was more like a...
Drawing room?
Well, it wasn't exactly a drawing room. It was more like a...
Compartment?
What's a compartment?
Well, a compartment has an upper and lower berth in it and a chair.
A chair? Hmm? No, this wasn't a compartment. Forget about it, Don. By the way, how did you come up here?
Oh, I came up on the TWA bus.
The TWA bus? Don, the TWA is an airliner. It flies.
Not when I'm on it.
Now I know what they mean by ceiling zero. Anyway, Don, we got here, so Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack.
Mary, I don't know what's come over me, but I've never seen you look so pretty before. Your complexion so clear, your cheeks so rosy. Have you got on your new makeup?
No, you've got on your new glasses.
Oh, yes. And Mary, I had these glasses made especially for San Francisco. Look at them.
Well, I don't see anything different.
Look closer.
Well, I'll be darned. Windshield wipers.
And yes, and not only that. Wait, Mary, press the little button on the bridge of my glasses.
What?
Go ahead, press the button.
Okay. Holy smoke, built-in fog lights.
Yes, sir, there's nothing like... Mary, what are you sticking your finger in my ear for?
I'm checking your gas and oil.
Mary, don't be silly. By the way, where are you living here in town?
At the Sir Francis Drake. Where are you?
I'm at the Fairmont Hotel on the top of Nob Hill.
How do you get there, Jack? By cable car?
No.
You ought to ride them sometime.
Mary, if I want to get to the top of Nob Hill, I'll get there.
Yeah, but what you won't do to save a dime.
What do you mean, Mary?
Well, yesterday I saw Jack going up Powell Street with spiked shoes, a rope, and a pick.
Well, I made it, didn't I?
Yes, but when you got to the top of the hill, you didn't have to yodel.
Look, I wasn't yodeling.
Then how come you got fan mail from 3 goats in Berkeley?
Because they got fountain pens that write under milk. I can go along with a gag, you know.
Honestly, Jack, every time you come to San Francisco, you have more trouble.
What are you laughing at, Mary?
Well, yesterday we were taking a drive to Oakland.
You mean over the Bay Bridge?
Yes. When we got to the toll gate, I reached over to pay the man, and before I knew it, Jack flew out of the car, jumped into the bay, climbed up back on the bridge, handed the man the quarter, and said, "Butterfingers."
Yeah.
And, Jack, you want to know something?
What?
The man told me he dropped it on purpose. He knew you'd jump in after it.
Dropped it on purpose, eh? Well, it wasn't a wasted trip, sister. We're having barracuda for dinner.
Barracuda? How in the world did you catch a barracuda?
I didn't catch him. He followed me out. With my new glasses, I look like a mackerel. Now, let's get on with the... Come in.
Mr. Benny,
Yes?
I work in the San Francisco post office, and we have thousands and thousands of letters that say I can't stand Jack Benny.
Huh? Oh, well, those must have been sent in for the contest I had last year.
They were sent this year and have nothing to do with the contest.
Well, I'll pick them up before I leave San Francisco.
I wish you'd hurry. One of them is ticking.
Well, you can forward that one to Fred Allen.
That's who it came from.
Now, cut that out. I'll come to the post office in the morning and pick them up. And as for you, Mr.
Jones.
What?
Jones.
Jones. Jones?
Yeah.
Well, I want to shake your hand, Mr. Jones. I really do.
Jack, what are you so excited about? Who is he?
I don't know, but he's the first guy I've met in San Francisco whose name isn't DiMaggio.
That's my first name.
All right, get out. I had a fall for a thing like that.
Well, Jack, it's just as I told you. Every time you come to San Francisco, you have trouble.
Mary, I don't have any trouble. People love me here. You should have seen the crowd that turned out for the newspaper men's frolic last night.
And, Jack, didn't you and Bob Hope do an act together on the Damon Runyon Memorial Fund benefit last Thursday?
Yes, we did, Don. In fact, I was one of the masters of ceremonies, and I introduced Bob.
Gee, I like Hope. He's so glib and he talks so fast.
You're telling me. When I introduced him, I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bob Hope." And between Bob and Hope, he told 12 jokes, sang 2 choruses of Thanks for the Memory, and made a new picture called The Road to Tanforan. What a man. You know, he'd be a great comedian if he could only play the violin. Mary, stop looking at me like that.
If I'd had a good lunch, I'd punch you right in the nose.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What?
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Oh, hello, Dennis. Well, Dennis, I haven't had a chance to talk to you since you got in town. Where are you living here?
Oh, I've got a wonderful suite with 16 bathrooms.
A suite with 16 bathrooms? Where?
In the basement of the Fairmont Hotel.
Oh, well, are you comfortable there?
Yes, but I can never get to sleep.
Why not?
All night long, a man with a whisk broom keeps brushing me off.
Oh. Too bad, Dennis. It was such a good line, too.
And you know what, Mr. Benny?
What?
Going without sleep has made me lose an awful lot of weight.
What do you mean, kid?
Well, this morning I weighed myself 4 times, and the arrow always pointed to 0.
What?
I don't weigh anything.
No, there's something wrong, Dennis. Maybe after you put in your penny, you wiggle around too much when you stand on the scale.
Oh, stand on it.
Yes, you have to stand on it. Now, come on, Dennis. Everybody's here anxious to hear you sing, so let's have your song.
Okay. Well, Mr. Benny, you know, when I put my penny in the weighing machine, a card came out with my picture on it.
Your picture?
Yeah, and guess who I look like?
Who?
Betty Grable.
What?
I can't understand what Harry James sees in me.
I can't either. Go ahead and sing, will you, kid? Go ahead.
Oh, give me back my prairie with the cattle and wild game, where the girls are nice and curvy, and the women are the same. Where cowboys all yell, whoopee, while a lariat they twirl, and timber wolves yell timber when they see a pretty girl. Oh, why did I ever leave Wyoming? Why, oh, why did I ever have to go? Oh, why did I ever leave Wyoming? 'Cause there's a sheriff back there looking for me high and low, and home on the range. Back home in old Wyoming, folks are acting mighty strange.
Since they started social climbing, now they've changed the good old range. Our farm is now a dude ranch, and there's carpet on the trails. The cowboys wear tuxedos, and the horses all wear tails.
My Uncle Max in Cheyenne claims he's honest as the sun. He worked 6 years in a bathhouse, and he never took A1. The sheriff finally got him, and no more will Uncle roam. They caught him working in a bank and taking samples home. Oh, why did I ever leave Wyoming? Why did I ever have to go? Why did I ever leave Wyoming? 'Cause there's a sheriff back there looking for me high and low, and high and low, and high.
And the rod, the mandolin. Whoops, sorry. That baritone must have picked the key.
Oh, from old Wyoming I will never roam.
That was Wyoming, sung in San Francisco by Dennis Day, who lives in Los Angeles and was born in New York. And now...
Gee, what a trip just to sing a song.
Yes, a trip.
Say, Dennis. Dennis, we looked for you on the train. Why didn't you come up with us from Los Angeles?
Well, I had to wait a couple of days because my mother and father wanted to come. I thought I'd treat them to a little vacation.
Oh, did you drive up in your car?
No, we took the night train. Mother slept in the lower berth, and my father and I shared the upper.
You and your father in an upper berth? That must have been awful.
Well, we wouldn't have minded that so much, but our dog wouldn't get off the pillow.
Oh, your dog was in there, too?
Yeah, she sure picked a fine time to have pups.
Well, it's your own fault, Dennis. Why in the world did you bring your dog to San Francisco?
Oh, I hated to leave her at a time like that.
Oh. Well, it's nice of you to be so considerate, and congratulations, by the way. And now, kids, if you'll all sit down and be quiet, I got a surprise for you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have as our guest star tonight a very fine actress who, because of her great performance on the screen, was recently nominated for the Academy Award. Here she is, Miss Jane Wyman.
Thank you, Jack. It was very nice of you to say that.
Well, I meant it, Janie. I thought you gave a sterling performance in The Yearling.
That's yearling.
Oh, yes. I thought you gave a sterling performance in The Yearling. I mean, sterling. Well, Janie, it must have been a great personal satisfaction for you being nominated for the Academy Award.
Oh, it was, Jack. I was never so excited in my life.
Well, Janie, how did you feel about Olivia de Havilland winning the Oscar?
Well, Jack, I thought she deserved it. I think Olivia gave the finest performance of the year.
Well, I know, but weren't you even a teensy-weensy bit jealous when somebody else got the Oscar?
No, not at all.
Gee, that's funny. When Frederick March won it, I could have spit right in his eye. I was furious.
But, Jack, you had no right to be jealous of Frederick March. You didn't even make a picture last year.
I know, but I made one 3 years ago, and people still remember it.
There's an answer to that, but I think my mother might be listening.
I see what you mean. At least, Janie, you were nominated, and there's always another chance. Who do you think will be nominated next year?
Tom Dewey.
Oh, go feed your pups. Janie, You may not know this, but next year I'm going to make a picture that will be so sensational.
Hello, Janie. How are you?
Why, Mary, it's good to see you again. You look wonderful.
Now, in this picture, I play the
Janie,
part...
isn't San Francisco an exciting town?
It certainly is, Mary. And the shops have so many new fashions.
In this picture,
Did
I
you
play
see the new
part...
spring clothes they're showing here?
See them. I've already bought 2 of the darlingest suits at Mason Mendesal's.
In this picture...
You know, I got a dream of an evening gown at Magnus. It's chartreuse, and the bodice is covered with sequins.
In this picture, I play the part of a chartreuse, and there...
Mary.
I mean, there's a scene where
Mary, you know, they have the most gorgeous things in the lingerie shop at Roos Brothers. Real 2-way stretches and everything.
Now, look, girl.
And I picked up some of the cutest hats at Ransom.
Wait a minute.
Oh, and you should see the suede alligator shoes I got at O'Connor and Moffat.
Wait a minute.
And you know, they have silk 2-piece bathing suits that are strapless and back.
Now, in this picture, What'd you say about strapless bathing suits?
Nothing. And you should be ashamed of yourself talking about your own pictures when you have a star like Jane Wyman.
Well, I congratulated her, Mary. I told her she was wonderful in The Yearling, didn't I, Janie?
Yes, you did.
And the Technicolor and scenery in the picture were the most gorgeous I've ever seen. Where did they shoot the picture? In Hollywood?
No, it was filmed in, you should excuse the expression, Florida.
Well, you certainly gave a great performance. And I also think that Gregory Peck should have won something for running around on all fours and jumping over logs and leaping over fences.
Jack, that was the deer.
Oh. Well, I thought he was kind of cute, too, but...
No, Gregory Peck was the man with the straw hat.
Oh, well, I saw the picture before I got my new glasses, you see. I sat so far back, the third row, too.
Janie, I haven't had a chance to see the picture yet. What was the story about?
Well, Gregory Peck and I were running a little farm, and we were face to face with poverty. We'd worked 18 to 20 hours a day and year after year of back-breaking labor, and we didn't have a penny to show for our toil.
Gee, I wonder where they got an idea like that.
Oh, Rochester gave it to them.
Imagine him selling his diary, isn't it?
What were some of the things you and Gregory Peck raised on the farm?
Well, there were potatoes, yams, cotton, and our best crop was tobacco.
Well, it took a long time, but you finally got around to me.
Oh, you're Don Wilson, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am. Don Wilson, in the flab.
Look, Don, we were just discussing... Jane, what are you staring at Don like that for?
Now, I thought San Francisco had a bay. Wyman, you're only a guest, but you're just as corny as they are.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Wyman, I saw The Yearling, and I was very impressed, but there's one scene that I'd like to ask you about.
What is it, Mr. Wilson?
In that heartbreaking scene when your son ran away from home and with tears in your eyes you were running through the fields looking for him.
Yes.
Now, the tobacco you raised in that field, was it that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco?
Yes, sir, you bet. Why, sure.
And they dared give the award to another picture?
Don, they gave it to the best smokes of our lives, if that'll make you happier.
And I've been smoking Lucky Strikes nigh on to 25 yearlings.
Good.
Every morning, Gregory would go out and peck that fine tobacco.
Say, that's wonderful.
Then again, if it's not Tom Dewey, it might be Governor Warren.
What?
And when Gregory pecked that fine tobacco, it was made into Lucky Strikes that are so round, so firm, so fully packed.
Don.
So free and easy on the draw.
Don. Mr. Wilson, Nob Hill. You got in your commercial. It's time for a band number. Come on, let's dance, everybody. That was the coffee song played by Phil Harris's orchestra and directed by Mr. Malin Merrick. That is your name, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Merrick, it was nice of you to fill in for Mr. Harris since he couldn't be with us today. And I want to tell you that I've never heard Phil Harris's band sound so good. How long have you studied music?
1 week.
Oh. Well, what made you decide so recently that you wanted to lead an orchestra?
Well, I'm a conductor on a cable car, and I don't know how long they're going to last.
Oh, I see. Well, thanks again for helping us out, Mr. What was that name again?
Merrick. Malin D. Merrick.
Now, what's the D for?
DiMaggio.
I should have known, huh?
Jack,
Well,
why couldn't Phil come up here with us?
Phil, well, you see, Mary, Phil has his own program for Fit Shampoo, which follows my show. And when I go out of town and Phil has to choose between the two programs, naturally, he'd choose the one with the bottles. You see? But he'll be with us next week.
You know, Jack, I'm sorry Phil Harris isn't here today. I think he's awfully cute.
Do you, Janie?
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing I can't understand. What do women see in Phil Harris?
Oh, I don't know. He's handsome and impetuous, and he has sex appeal.
Well, don't you think I have sex appeal?
Well, in a gay 90 sort of way.
Now, wait a minute, Janie. How can you say that? You've never even kissed me. Come on, give me a kiss.
Right here in front of everybody?
Why, certainly. Come on, Janie, kiss me.
Well, all right.
There.
Well, maybe he's not as old as I thought he was. Look at the sparkle in his eyes.
Don't get excited. Those are fog lights.
Mary.
If it's not Governor Warren, it might be Herbert Hoover.
What?
Don't you read the papers?
Oh, quiet.
Jack hasn't read anything since Monday except Newsweek because his picture's on the cover.
You said it. And if I do say so myself, I look pretty good.
Go on. I've sent out laundry that look better than that.
Mary, you're just jealous because Newsweek magazine didn't put your... Come in.
Hello, Mr. Benny. Pardon the intrusion.
Well, Mr. Kitzel. Mr. Kitzel, what are you doing here in San Francisco?
I'm visiting my relatives.
Oh, you have relatives here?
Yes, my brother owns a hotel.
Here in town, eh? What's the name of it?
The Sir Francis Kitzel.
Sir Francis Kitzel?
Yes, and I have an uncle who's got a restaurant in Chinatown.
A restaurant in Chinatown?
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Ling King Fui.
Fui?
You should eat there sometime.
Well, maybe we'll go over after the show tonight. Does he serve yakka mein, chow mein, and chop suey?
With a noodle in the middle and a herring on top.
Oh.
He also serves corned beef and cabbage.
Your uncle serves corned beef and cabbage? That's an Irish dish.
He's very friendly.
Oh, well, Mr. Kitzel, it's nice that you have so many relatives here.
Oh, yes, and I also got a cousin on Fisherman's Wharf.
What's his name?
DiMaggio.
Well, look, which one of the DiMaggios is your cousin, Joe, Vincent, or Dominic?
Morris. Yes. You know, he plays baseball with the San Francisco Schlemiels.
Well, Mr. Kitzel, it was certainly nice to see you again.
Well, as they say at 10 for M, mutual.
Yes, sir.
I got to be running along now.
Oh, just a minute. Before you go, I want you to meet our guest star, Miss Jane Wyman.
Hello, Mr. Kitzel.
Why, Mr. Kitzel, you're a regular wolf.
Thank you. Well, goodbye, Mr. Benny.
Goodbye.
Oh, Miss Wyman.
Yes.
Greystone 8056. Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, isn't he a cute guy, Janie? Well, Janie, we certainly had an exciting week up here, didn't we?
We certainly did, Jack.
And I want to thank you very much for being on my program and also for appearing at the newspaper frolics last night.
Oh, it was lots of fun, and I always enjoy coming to San Francisco.
Me too.
Herbert Hoover lives in Palo Alto.
I know. Dennis, why don't you pay attention to what we're... Pardon me. Hello?
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 Who is this?
Your favorite brunette.
Rochester! Rochester, where are you?
I'm in Sausalito.
Sausalito? What are you doing there?
Nothing.
Nothing?
That's the main industry here.
What?
They've got so much of it, they export it.
Oh, you mean things are kind of quiet over there?
Quiet? Over here, they think no apprentice is a blabbermouth.
Now, wait a minute, Rochester. I didn't give you permission to go over there.
I know, boss, but I had a couple of spare hours on my hands.
Uh-huh.
And I was, kind of lonesome.
Yeah?
And then I remembered I knew a girl over here.
Yeah?
And it's spring now, boss. Spring!
All right, so what happened?
The main industry, nothing.
Well, look, Rochester, were there any calls or messages for me at the hotel?
A few, boss.
What were they?
Well, the hotel barber came up to the room about 10 minutes after you left.
The barber?
Yeah, I got a shave and you got a haircut.
Rochester, how could he give me a haircut when I wasn't even... Oh, well... I hope it was the blonde one. I want to wear it tonight. See you later, Rochester.
So long, boss.
So long.
Oh, say, boss.
Now what?
My girl and I have been listening to the program.
What'd you think of it?
Are you sure you've got a contract for the next 3 years?
Yes.
Lovely, lovely.
Never mind. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Well, I guess you can't fool all of the people all of the time. Playboy. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1947 Easter Seal campaign is on. Crippled children can become useful citizens if we give them the help they need while they are young and growing, such as clinical care, schooling, camping, vocational guidance, and finally a job. We can help them best by buying our share of Easter Seals today. Thank you.
Jack will be back in just a minute, but first, here is Basil Rysdale.
As you listen to the chant of the tobacco auctioneer, remember, LSMFT.
At 59, American.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. Here are the words of a man who's had a lifetime of tobacco experience, Mr. Charles L. Saunders, an independent tobacco buyer of Reidsville, North Carolina, who said,
I've seen thousands and thousands of baskets of ripe, mild tobacco sold to the makers of Lucky Strike. Tobacco that's really fine. So for a grand smoke, I picked Lucky's. Smoked them for 21 years.
Independent tobacco experts like Mr. Saunders speak from their own experience, for they can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Real Lucky Strike tobacco. Yes. LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. First, last, always. LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And fine tobacco means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody here in San Francisco for being so nice to us. Also, Janie Wyman, who appeared on the program through the courtesy of Warner Brothers, who are the producers of that new picture, Cheyenne. Be sure to listen in next Sunday when we will have as our guests Mr. Samuel Goldwyn and Hoagie Carmichael.
What about Herbert Hoover?
Dennis. Good night, folks.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike.
At 59, American.
LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Here's what independent tobacco experts say about the fine tobacco bought year after year by the makers of Lucky Strike.
Quality tobacco. Fine, ripe smoking leaf that makes a smooth, mild smoke.
Lucian Purdom, 35 years a tobacco auctioneer, said that.
Fine, mellow tobacco you can't beat for top smoking quality. Smoked Lucky's myself for 19 years.
Fred Evans, independent tobacco buyer, said that. Season after season, at market after market, independent tobacco experts like Mr. Purdom and Mr. Evans can see the makers of Lucky Strike buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco. So for your own real deep down smoking enjoyment, remember,
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Broadcasting from New York City, the Lucky Strike program, starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and filling in for little old fatty Don Wilson is yours truly, Kenny Delmar. Ladies and gentlemen, it has often been said that it takes brains to make money. I don't want to start an argument, but here's the star of our show, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking. And Kenny Delmar, you can save those introductions for Fred Allen. You know, you don't have to... Kenny, I'm talking to you. Kenny, look at me.
I'm sorry, Jack, but when I hear the name Fred Allen, I instinctively bow my head.
Well, Kenny, if you bow your head low enough, you might see his hooper. Imagine making people bow to him. Of course, I haven't been in New York a long time.
Well, Jack, the last time you were in New York and you met Fred Allen, you bowed.
Kenny, I wasn't bowing. I just couldn't look at that face. What a homely guy. I've never seen a guy.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Jack. Fred isn't so homely.
He isn't, eh? Allen's face has so many wrinkles, when he gets a shave, the barber has to use a bookmark. The only time Allen's face isn't out of place is during the baseball season.
The baseball season?
Yeah, with those bags under his eyes, his nose looks like it's caught between second and third. And the rest of them should be sent to the showers. Believe me.
Well, Jack, I didn't want to mention this, but since you're talking about Allen, I think it's only fair that I tell you something.
What?
Well, Fred said that you've got so much money that you have no more places to keep it.
Uh-huh.
So any money you make from now on, you're going to have melted down and shot into your arm.
You know, it's a good idea. It'll give me all my vitamins. M-O-N-E and Y in there.
Hello, Jack.
Oh, hello, Mary. Hi. Mary, I haven't seen you since we got off the train. Where have you been?
Well, I went right from the station to New Jersey to visit my mother.
Your mother, eh? Well, how is the duck-billed platypus of Plainfield?
Jack, please.
I don't know. They told me that's a local joke here, is it? Everybody told me if I say it, they'll scream at it.
Mama doesn't look like that.
I'm sorry, man. Maybe if she went to a beauty parlor, she could, you know. How's your sister, Babe? I hope she's not running around with that guy she wrote you about, the undertaker.
Oh, wait a minute, Jack. He's a nice fellow, and he's very sporty. He's the only undertaker in Plainfield who has a convertible hearse.
Convertible hearse? That's a good idea. Get a little brown before they lower you down. Your sister really picks him, doesn't she?
Yeah, but Babe is thinking of giving him up because he's always got his mind on his work.
What do you mean, kid?
Well, one day she went riding with him without her makeup on, and he drove her straight to the cemetery.
Yeah, I bet Babe was frightened, wasn't he?
You're not kidding. He almost finished the eulogy before she punched him in the nose.
Well, why didn't she stop him sooner?
Those are the first nice things he ever said about her.
Oh, I see. Well, is Babe still in Plainfield?
Oh, no. She came back to New York with me. In fact, she's sitting in the audience right now.
Where?
Right in the third row. The girl with the marble hat.
Oh, yes. Look at what it says. Babe Livingston, please keep off the grass. Oh, by the way, Mary, I want you to meet Kenny Delmar. He's our announcer today.
Kenny Delmar? Why, Jack, you took him right off the Fred Allen show.
No, Mary, not right off the Allen show. I sprayed him first. You know, I'd like to see Allen's face next Wednesday when he sees my name in lights at the Roxy Theater. You know, he got sick when he heard about the business we did in Chicago.
Jack, I understand that it's the first time in the history of the Chicago Theater that it's passed the $100,000 mark for any week. How much did you get out of it?
Well, I hate to brag, Kenny. You tell him, Mary, huh?
Well, in setting the new record, Jack...
Racket? The new what?
Leave it in. It's good.
You know, it was a new racket at that. Start the line again, Mary. It's too good to lose. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, in setting the new record, Jack took in $113,000 for the week.
113,000.
Yes, but of course he had to pay Phil, Rochester, Marjorie Reynolds, and the quartet. That left him $112,000.
Yes.
Then he paid his income tax, and that left him $1.65,
Uh-huh.
which he owes me for doing his laundry.
I would have done it myself, but I didn't want to open at the Roxy with red hands. So you see, Kenny, you have to wait here a little longer than Los Angeles. I'm getting used to it now. You see, Kenny, it isn't all. Come in.
Pardon the intrusion, Mr. Benny.
Well, it's Mr. Kitzel. Hey, Mr. Kitzel, are you having fun here in New York? Well, where have you been?
No place.
You mean you're just staying in your hotel room?
Who lives in hotel rooms? When I come to New York, I live with my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes, Pansy Nussbaum.
Oh, Mrs. Nussbaum.
She lives in Anelli, and what neighbor she's got. On the one side lives our senator, who's always talking about the South.
Yeah.
Next door lives our farmer, who is always saying, howdy, Bobcat. And also is living there a man named Ajax Cassidy, who is not long for this world.
I hope you're comfortable at Mrs. Nussbaum.
Yes, but next week, Pansy's mother is coming to live with her, so I'm moving to the YMCA.
The YMCA?
Yankel Mendelbaum's Chateau Amour.
Oh, well, Mr. Kitzel, I hope you're enjoying your visit here.
Oh, thank you, I am. And next week, I'm going to see your show when you open by the Roxy Theater.
Good. You like my show.
Yes, indeed. Particularly if Phil Harris is going to sing that song. Won't you come with me to Alabama? There we'll meet my dear old mammy. Frying eggs and broiling pastrami. That's what I like about the South.
Pastrami?
Pastrami, yes.
Mr. Kitzel, the word is hammy.
Look, I just came in to say hello. Don't antagonize me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, all right, Mr. Benny. I'll come to see your show.
Thank you. Thank you. Got me doing it now. Goodbye, Mr. Kitzel.
Goodbye.
He's such a sweet little guy. I hope he has a good time here in New York. There's so many places to go. Excuse me, there's the phone. Hello?
Mr. Benny,
Yes?
I have a long-distance call for you from Chicago.
Chicago? Who's calling?
The Sportsman Quartet.
Oh, my quartet. Put them on.
Yes, sir. Here they are.
Hello? Fellas, what do you want? What's so important that you called me here in New York?
Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Effie Boone. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that we will be there soon.
You will be here soon.
And when you go to Lindy, please try and save a seat for me.
For you.
So tell everyone on Old Broadway to light an LSMFT. Believe me, we want to ride the subway. So round, so firm, so fully packed.
Around and form and fully
We'd
packed.
like to drive through Central Park and smoke a lucky in a hat.
A lucky in the
And
hat.
to Columbus Circle, and on a soapbox we will be. Shouting the praises of that cigarette, it's LSMFT.
Gentlemen, your 3 minutes are out.
With my regards
Boys,
to
your time is up.
Remember
Fellows, you'll have to hang up now. Boys. Boys. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It was nice of my quartet to call me from Chicago. I wonder how they got that piano in the phone booth. They must have...
Okay, folks, you can wipe off that frown, because here comes Harris, the toast of the town.
Oh, fine. The toast of the town. Rye toast. 90 proof rye.
Say, Phil, are you having a good time here in New York?
Oh, wonderful, Livy, wonderful. What a combination. Me in New York. Me, the world's greatest entertainer in the world's greatest city.
Phil, how can you say such a thing?
Why, ain't New York the world's greatest city?
Jack, put down that knife. We've only got one more show.
All right. I guess I can stand it if you can.
Ah, New York, Jackson. Gee, it's great to be back here. What a city. What sight. The Empire State Building, Fifth Avenue, Central Park, and Mare LaGuardia.
Phil, look at. Come here. Soapbox head. Look at. I got news for you. LaGuardia isn't mayor of New York anymore. He's out of office.
Well, how do you like that, Happy Chandler? First DeRocha, now LaGuardia.
Oh, my goodness. Mary, you take it, will you?
Okay. Say, Phil, what have you been doing in town? Seen any shows?
Yeah, I went to see a show last night. It was all about Jackson.
Wait a minute, Phil. A show about me? What was the name of it?
Call Me Miser.
That's Mister. Call me Mister.
Okay, Mr. Miser.
All right, cut that out.
Okay, don't get sore about it. I was only... Hey, ain't that Kenny Delmar?
Hello, Philsy boy.
Hiya, Kenny. Good to see you again.
Oh, you know Kenny?
Why, certainly, son. Met him last summer, June, out there.
Yeah, Jack, it was when Phil was a guest on Fred's program.
Oh, I didn't know that Phil was a guest on Alan's show.
He was, and very good, too.
Kenny, tell me something.
Why?
Did he sing it? All 50 choruses. I thought so. How he has the nerve to come up and... Excuse me. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny. This is Rochester.
Rochester, where have you been? I expected you to call me yesterday from Grand Central Station.
I got off at 125th Street.
125th Street? Well, you were certainly anxious to get to Harlem.
Anxious, I start dragging 1 foot at Albany.
But, Rochester, how could you get off? The train doesn't stop at 125th Street.
I found that out, so I pulled the emergency cord.
The emergency cord? Did that stop the train fast?
Did it? The diner came in the Grand Central Station piggyback.
Oh, stop that. Why is it every time we go to New York, you rush to Harlem?
Well, I had to go there yesterday. It was a big holiday. Everybody was drinking toast with each other and throwing confetti out the window and dancing in the street.
Gee, what holiday was it?
Boys, we were having so much fun we forgot to name it.
That's what I thought. Well, look, Rochester, we can't talk anymore because I got to do my show.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, say, Rochester.
Yes, sir.
I got some work for you to do tomorrow.
I can't tomorrow. There's another holiday coming up.
Never mind that now. I want you to go over to my hotel and press my gray suit. I'm going to wear it Wednesday when I open at the Roxy.
But, boss, that gray suit doesn't give enough contact with your golden curly locks.
Well, Rochester, what can I do? I don't have any other suit.
I know, but you've got other hair.
Not anymore. Chicago was windier than I thought. I'll see you at my hotel. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, say, boss, happy birthday.
It's not my birthday.
It's too late now. My friends are drinking to it.
Oh, hang up. Goodbye. That guy drives me nuts. Well, kids, let's get on with the show because, you know, Al Jolson's going to be our guest star.
Well, how come he hasn't arrived yet?
Well, Mary, he told me he was driving over here and there's a lot of traffic and, I don't know, maybe Al isn't a very good driver.
Hey, Jackson, maybe you don't like the way Al Jolson drives, but have you ever seen the way Larry parks? Oh, Harris, you may not be Guy Lombardo, but you're the sweetest thing this side of heaven.
Isn't that awful?
That was my last line, Mother. You can turn it off now.
Phil, come back here. If you miss another one, it's going to be your last line. Imagine telling your mother to turn off the radio. That's terrible.
Don't you worry, Jackson. Mom knows enough to turn it back on for the Fitch bandwagon.
Oh, brother. Now I've heard everything.
You ain't heard nothing yet.
Why, it's Al! Al Jolson! Say, Al, what took you so long getting here?
Well, you know how it is, Jack. I drove over and there's an awful lot of traffic.
Oh, yes, I remember now. And you're not such a good driver.
Say, listen, maybe you don't like the way I drive. But have you ever seen the way Larry parks? Ha, ha, ha. I got a gag in.
No, Al, turn the page.
Oh.
Turn the page. Al, Phil just did that joke.
What's the difference? You get 1 million new listeners when I come on.
I know, Al, I know. That's why it's nice having you on my show.
Well, it's nice being with you, Jack.
But, gee, Al, you've been making so many guest star appearances. I can't understand why you work so hard.
Well, Jack, weren't you ambitious when you were my age?
Your age?
Yeah.
How old are you?
38.
Gee, we all seem to get stuck there. But, Al, seriously, you shouldn't work so hard. Don't you realize that life was made to be lived and enjoyed? Gee, you gotta live leisurely, enjoy the finer things in life. You shouldn't be a slave, a man to his bank account. Remember, money isn't everything.
Don't applaud, folks. You might wake 'em up.
Mary.
Well, hello, you.
Al, this is Mary Livingston.
Hello, Al.
Mary, what a beautiful name. And what a beautiful girl to go with it.
Oh, Al. I didn't think you were still interested in girls.
Listen, honey, baby, let me tell you something. A man never gets too old to be interested in girls.
Say, that's the best news I've heard today.
Phil, please. Huh?
Wait a minute. Aren't you Phil Harris?
Yes, sir. That's me.
How do you like that? He admits it yet.
Nothing bothers him. Now, Mary, Phil, please sit down. You know, Al, it's hard to think of any two fellas in show business who have as much in common as we two.
You're right, Jack, and that goes for radio, vaudeville, Broadway shows, and the movies.
Yeah, take movies, for instance. We both worked for Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
You made Sonny Boy, which was nearly their first talkie.
And you made The Horn Blows at Midnight, which was nearly their last one.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, Jack, I apologize. I mean, it was one of the more recent ones.
No, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's amazing, though, Al, how our careers are so closely associated.
I think so.
I mean, few people realize that you were the very first man to encourage me and help me up the ladder of success. I remember it clearly. It was in 1922.
1922.
I wasn't working. You were a big-time star. And you met me and you slapped me on the back and said, son, don't worry, you'll make good. And then you gave me $1 to get a meal.
That was 25 years ago. How about giving it back?
Al, I didn't return that $1 because I thought it was a good luck omen. And I decided to pass it on to some other poor struggling actor who might need encouragement.
Well, I'm glad you didn't keep the $1. Tell me, Jack, who'd you give it to?
Well, first I had my eye on a nice young kid named Eddie Cantor. Now, he was very talented.
Look, I just came here to sing. Don't antagonize me.
Oh.
So he gave the $1 to Eddie Cantor.
Well, you see, at that time, Eddie Cantor was engaged to marry a girl named Ida. But by the time I decided to give him the $1...
He had a wife and 5 kids. I don't know.
Only 3.
All right, Jack. Who did you finally give the $1 to?
Well, you've heard of Bing Crosby, haven't you?
Heard of him. We go around together on the same turntables.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Anyway, well, what happened with Crosby?
Well, I noticed he looked hungry, so I walked up to him, slapped him on the back, and said, kid, how about $1? And he gave it to me. Anyway, Al, I didn't know where to turn next.
But, Jack, there were other struggling youngsters who could have used that lucky $1. Fellas like Danny Kaye, Bob Hope, Ronald Coleman, Hugo Carmichael, Jimmy Durante, Darryl Zanuck, Clark Gable, and Menashe Skolnick.
Menashe Skolnick?
Yeah, he's a star of Finkelstein's Rainbow. You know that show.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, all those actors seemed to struggle to the top without my help. And so against my finer instincts, I kept your lucky $1. And now it'll always be with me.
I know. You had it melted down and shot in your arm.
Yeah. Well, Al is getting on towards the end of the program, and I was wondering, well, perhaps you'd like to sing a song.
You know, folks, this kid doesn't listen to radio much.
Well, then you would like to sing, huh?
Well, certainly. That's why I brought my music over. Here, look at it.
Well, this is a swell song. Come on, Al, let's hear it.
Okay, but who'll accompany me?
Phil Harris's orchestra.
Give me back my music.
What? Hey, wait a minute, Jolie. I heard that remark, and I don't like anyone casting aspirins at my band.
That's aspersions.
For his band, it's aspirins. I've heard of.
Oh, yeah? Hey, listen, what's wrong with my band?
What's wrong? Hoo, 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 hoo.
Come on. Come on, what's wrong with my band?
Oh, Phil, don't be so sensitive.
Well, I don't care. Everyone who comes on this show has to insult my band, and I'm not going to stand for it anymore. I won't. Alice, I won't. I'm just not going to stand for it anymore.
Gee, Al,
I don't
look,
have
Al.
to stand for it.
Al, you've hurt Phil's feelings. Say something nice to him.
Something nice?
Yeah.
Bourbon.
Thanks, pal.
Phil, stop kissing him. Come on, Al. Everybody's waiting to hear you sing, huh?
Okay, Jackson, stand back. Oh, April showers may come your way. They bring the flowers that bloom in May. And if it's raining, have no regrets, because it isn't raining. Rain, you know, it's raining violets. And where you see clouds upon the hills, you soon will see crowds of daffodils. So keep on looking for a bluebird and listening for its song. Whenever April showers come along. Though April showers may come your way, they bring the flowers that bloom in May. So if it's raining, have no regrets, because it isn't raining. Rain, you know, it's raining violets. And when you see clouds on the hills, look, they're not clouds, no, they're crowds of daffodils. So keep on looking for a bluebird and listening for its song. Whenever April showers come along.
Al, that was one. Let's throw the script away and have another song.
Okay, Jack. What do you want?
You made me love you.
I always did.
You did? Well, let's have it.
Hit it, boys. Hit it. Take it. You made me love you. I didn't want to do it. You made me want to. And all the time you knew it. I guess you always knew it. You made me happy sometimes, or you made me sad. But there were times, baby. Oh, you dog. You made me cry for. I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to tell you. I want some love, that's true. You know I do, deed I do, yes I do. Gimme, 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 gimme what I cry for. You know you got the kind of kisses that I'd die for. You know you made me love you.
I just want to say a few words in behalf of the United States Coast Guard, which began accepting men between the ages of 17 and 25, or veterans up to 35. Many opportunities are available in the technical fields of electronics and aviation. So if any of you men are interested, call your nearest Coast Guard recruiting officer. He's listed in the directory under U.S. Government Treasury Department. Thank you. Jack will be back in just a minute, but first, here is Basil Rysdale.
As you listen to the chant of the tobacco auctioneer, remember, LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts.
Mr. James Walker of Durham, North Carolina, has been an independent tobacco buyer for 27 years. A veteran of thousands of tobacco auctions, he said,
season after season, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy fine, ripe, fragrant tobacco. So it's only common sense for me to pick Lucky's. Smoked them for 17 years.
Friends, independent tobacco experts like Mr. Walker speak from experience, for they can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Real Lucky Strike tobacco.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. No doubt about it.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And fine tobacco means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Kenny Delmar and Al Jolson for appearing on my program tonight. Al, you sang great, and thanks very much.
Thanks, Jack, but how about my check?
Look, you just came over to sing. Don't antagonize me. Ladies and gentlemen, on Wednesday, we'll be opening at the Roxy Theater here in New York. Next Sunday will be our last broadcast of the season, when Dennis Day will be back with us, and our guest star will be America's greatest pause for station identification, Fred Allen. Say, Jolie, will you excuse me a minute? I promised I'd drop in next door on the Phil Harris program. They might need me over there.
Jack, they need you like a moose needs a hat rack.
Hey, you heard that on my program.
No, some fella named Norman Krasner told it to me.
Oh, yes, he loves it. Good night.
Good night, Jack.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.